What is up, my fellow Chibits? Hopefully all of you are having a wonderful day today, and hopefully all of you continue to have many wonderful days, because today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly anime review of Gundam. The conflict of Orga and Biscuit. The conflict between these two characters in this episode. Gotta say it. It's fucking wonderful. It's fucking wonderful. The human reaction with these characters. How Sunrise can give this wonderful development with each individual episode. It just makes me happy. Seeing this conflict, and then how it was kind of handled at the end of the episode, it makes me respect the series. I respect this series so much more than I already did, and I already hold this Gundam series in high regard. But seeing the way the drama and the conflict between Orga and Biscuit was handled in this episode, and it wasn't handled in a fashion of being, like, immature or just, like, shut the fuck up. It wasn't like that. It was handled in a way that was tasteful, and I could sit back and say, I enjoyed this scene. It did not annoy the fuck out of me, and it didn't make me hate a certain character. Because when it comes to scenes like that in anime, or manga, or any literature, when two characters fight, usually we get one side of the fight, and we're like, okay, so I don't really like this character more. He seems like he's a stuck-up bitch, and he needs to stop, you know, arguing and whining about so-and-so situation. And then eventually down the road, we find out his situation, and we're like, oh, I feel bad now. But seeing how the episode was able to dive into both sides, Orga and Biscuit's side of where they're coming from, and also we were able to understand, we were like at a point in this episode where we don't know who to side with. I mean, we want to side with Orga because we want to see some progression with the plot with Kudelia, but we want to side with Biscuit because, I mean, Biscuit's also correct with what he wants to do, because they're risking their life, and everybody else has the chance of dying as well, because what they're doing right now is already dangerous enough. But, I mean, being on Earth and having all these different organizations probably want to come after Tekadon and then Kudelia, they're in a very bad position. So seeing both viewpoints in this episode, it made me enjoy it so much more. But what really got me was how that was handled, like the drama of this was handled, because it wasn't to the point to where I was annoyed with Orga or Biscuit. I was actually kind of depressed. I was hoping that they would kind of settle this matter in a fashion that was mature, and they did that. I mean, they didn't actually make up in this episode, which I'm going to assume next week's episode is going to have that, but they kind of went off, and after the argument, they started talking to people they could just, you know, kind of confess what they currently feel at the moment, and you have it where each individual, they were just talking, saying what they thought, saying their piece about the situation, and they both came to a conclusion that both sides are correct, and both sides are wrong, and it really makes me love this series. I just love seeing those scenes, especially scenes in anime like that. It really just goes to show you why I love watching anime or reading, you know, books and stuff, because it's something I love. I love seeing this character development, this characterization with the characters, along with these characters being able to feel so real, or like a human reaction if you were in this situation. So, besides that, however, let's talk about what's really going on in this episode. Besides that, let's talk about the plot progression. So, Kudelia has to make a decision, along with everybody else, of Tekadon, because at this time, they are on Earth, and they really don't have any options to get back to the planet. I mean, they could, you know, ask their brothers, and like, hey, could you help us? We'll, you know, catch a ride on your ship and we can go back. But because of this, if they were to do that, they're somewhat famous on Mars, but they wouldn't stay famous for long. Eventually, their name would fade in time. So, right now, they're at that point to where they need to go all the way. I mean, if they're going to have risk for anything they do, if they're going to have a risk to going back to Mars or staying on the Earth, they'd rather just take, you know, the entire risk and try to gain more than, you know, not gaining anything at all. So I'm kind of glad that Orga decided to do that as well. We're moving on with the plot to where we now need to see if, you know, they're going to be able to settle this with Kudelia. If Kudelia is going to be able to make this deal, get this dude in power, before he can kind of start making decisions and changing things with Mars. I can't wait to see where this is going to go. Very interesting stuff going on in this episode, and also it seems like Tekadon's going to have a fight next week. So I can't wait to see, you know, an Earth battle, actually. This is the first time now I'm actually going to see in a Gundam series a battle on Earth. The planet Earth, we're going to get to see, like, a mech fight going on, and I wonder how that's going to kind of be, you know, handled, because, I mean, if there's a huge fight going on, they're probably going to endanger a lot of lives. So I'm willing to bet that we're probably going to get some form of death in this upcoming fight. I'm willing to bet we will. I'm willing to bet, because with all these setups, with the suicide of Biscuit's brother and how he's feeling, with Orga too, how he's feeling, and with all these different individual things throughout the episode, it feels like it's potentially setting up for a character death. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.